you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Cohen, for your testimony today and for your service to our country. And Mr. Scheeler, thank you for being here. As we broach the subject of integrity and fair processes, the EPA claims that they took their action against the Pebble mine because the agency received a petition letter asking them to stop the mine by using a preemptive 404C action. Mr. Cohen, can you explain what you found regarding this in the course of your investigation?
Well, I think that Mr. Scheeler has already commented on this, that there is evidence that a decision, a recommendation for a decision to go to 404C preceded the actual action taken by EPA, so that there is a fairly lengthy period of time in which it's clear that it was not the petition that activated this, but rather that this was something that was thought about as long ago as 2005, long before the agency took action by instituting the so-called Bristol Bay Watershed Assessment in 2011.
So in the course of your investigation, did you find that any EPA employees were assisting the petitioners in their efforts to draft the letter?
Again, Mr. Scheeler testified to this a few moments ago, but there was correspondence from an attorney representing the tribes sending a letter to Mr. North suggesting or requesting any assistance he might want to give or comment he might want to make on a potential petition filed by the tribes. That was the subject matter we discussed earlier, where we don't know what Mr. North said in return. It was communicated to Mr. North's private email account, not to the public one.
So in your opinion, is it appropriate for a federal government employee to assist a group that petitions a federal agency for action?
I think it's appropriate if it's public. If such communication is taking place and it's above board, and this is the EPA assisting tribes or others who have a very strong interest in this, as long as it's fully disclosed and above board, then I certainly don't have any question with that.
Congressman, I think you put your finger on one of the core issues that we identified that we could not run to the ground because we did not have subpoena power, but it's obviously a very important issue you're raising. So without subpoena power, we were unable to talk to Mr. North or Mr. Parker, the tribe's counsel, and understand what the full amount of collaboration, if any, there was. But that's obviously an important issue, and the question is what did happen, if anything, in terms of collaboration to put together the tribe's document, which was said by the EPA to be really the act that kicked off the 404C BBWA process. That's an important point. There may be benign explanations for this interaction, but we have not been able to get to the bottom of it, lacking subpoena power, but it is an important point to run down.
And I know with the votes, some of us were in and out and maybe missed part of the testimony, so I apologize for doubling up on the same question, but would it be your recommendation that the committee use its subpoena power to try to get to the bottom of some of these questions?
The answer is absolutely. You're the ones in charge of this in terms of oversight over EPA. EPA should welcome oversight by the appropriate committees. And I think it's a policy decision that Congress really has to adopt here. 404C has been used 13 times in 43 years. They've used it after a permit for a mine has been applied for. This is the first time this has been used, in this case, without one. So I think this is a policy issue. Now, EPA may say, look at the statute, look at the regulation that went into effect without any comment, by the way. Look at that and say, we have the power. Now, does Congress feel they have the power? Does Congress feel that this should be a model for watershed modeling for land use planning? that would have some pretty serious consequences to every state if power had shifted to EPA in this fashion. So I think these are issues, are policy issues, and you can get at them, Congress can get at them through the subpoena power. And frankly, I would be surprised if EPA wouldn't be willing to come before you and testify as to exactly what has happened so that they can say we did everything we feel we were required to do. I don't know why you'd even be forced to issue subpoenas since you have oversight over the EPA, and I don't know why they would be reluctant to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,